When the wind blows cold on the shores of Lake Erie, the Queen City moans her sad, lonely song. Her streets are empty, but for handfuls of scattered souls, scurrying to escape the chill. Most are gathered at the warm watering holes that garnish every street corner, offering respite for the weary. The air hangs thick and is warmed by the hot takes that resound from the wooden walls. We find ourselves on the doorstep of such a place, with the champions of mediocrity about to set off on another long-winded journey. The windows are already beginning to fog with the balmy bloviations. As the door creaks open, a rush of warm air ushers the velvet voices of the 716 Sports Podcast.
So we're in that dead part of Buffalo sports off-season where we all gather together in this room and wonder what exactly we're going to do to fill this podcast for an hour. So I think the natural place to start is to ask what your guys' thoughts are on the Buffalo Bisons going into the All-Star break.
I'm excited for Vlad Guerrero Jr., if I'm being completely frank. Other than that, I went to one game, and it's fine. But are they winning, or are they losing, or does it really matter?
I mean, does in the grand scheme of things, AAA baseball is just a reflection of how many top prospects the team decides to leave down at the AAA level. If your team is too good, you're either doing really well in the majors or trying to tank. I saw a stat today that there is 286 baseball teams competing at any level in North America right now, major leagues, AA, AAA. The Baltimore Orioles, out of those 286 teams, rank 286th in win percentage. So
Ouch.
It could always be worse, Bills fans.
It could be. And in the grand scheme of things, Buffalo Bisons baseball, and really the entire current state of the universe is just a tiny speck of sand on the space-time continuum. We're all just going to eventually evaporate into thin air. Anyway, it's the 716 Sports Podcast. Hey, thanks for coming back. Doing it on a Monday.
Going down on a Monday, hitting your feet's probably on a Tuesday.
That's the song that the kids, right?
On a Tuesday.
Yep. Have you ever heard that?
I've heard the song. It's been a little while, but I'm familiar with the part where he keeps going on a Tuesday.
I believe that is Kesha, correct?
Thought it was like the Kesha Macklemore
Kesha
double album
Macklemore.
after their rocking performance at the Darien Lake Performing Arts Center.
I was always more of a Ryan Lewis guy, but that's fine. Go Mariners. We'll try and reference all 30 professional baseball teams.
It's 3
of the
down,
Major League.
27 to go.
Sounds pretty good. We're all here tonight. Justin and I are sharing a microphone, so let me hand it over to Justin. Here we go. Transition.
That's a great handoff. Will we see handoffs like this to LaShawn McCoy this season?
Oh.
Segues.
You
hand
get
this back
one.
off.
You get one relay runner baton handoff, and you're spitting fire.
So now let's actually respond to that segue. Bills camp starting. Bills camp. Can we talk about this Football Outsiders thing real quick here before we begin?
Let's start with that.
So the Mafia is split right now on whether or not Josh Allen will be good. This isn't plagiarism, but I'm just going to read this word for word real quick. This is from the 2018 Football Outsiders preview. The Almanac. What do they know? Here it is. And I quote, "A parody of an NFL quarterback prospect, Allen was abysmal in 2017 en route to not even making an All-Mountain West team. We don't want to say there's absolutely no chance he'll ever be good. He's got a deep ball. He's got some ability to make plays on the run and under pressure. But there's zero empirical evidence to support him becoming a reasonable NFL starting quarterback. And if you thought the excuses for his supporting cast were bad at Wyoming, wait till you see this Bills offense." Bills corner Tre'Davious White heaped praise on Allen in OTAs, saying he was going to break a lot of guys' fingers this year. Side note, is that a good thing? Like, because you want to hit your wideouts. We know that Kelvin Benjamin can't stay healthy, so we don't want him hurt. Zay Jones will just, I don't know if breaking fingers would be an improvement over last season. And then the other guys.
Well, at least A. Jones isn't going through windows. I mean,
It's a valid point.
yes.
Great point. Okay, side note over. Jaguars corner Jalen Ramsey, this is ballsy, by the way, retweeted Allen's first OTA snaps and said he was said his throw was a pick waiting to happen. Allen is the battleground that old school scouts are going to die on, whether they're right about it or, as all evidence suggests, wrong about it.
I feel like Barstool Sports basically just memed Josh Allen into a top 10 pick by constantly telling everyone about how big of an arm he is and how great he looks in shorts, that enough people got the word to enough people in power that Josh Allen is now the experiment that gets to play out before our eyes in Buffalo.
Don't forget big hands.
He has huge hands.
So we got the 6'5" white guy at quarterback finally.
It's been too long since we
Feels
had
like
one of
it's been
those.
a decade and a half since we had this. So rather than, I mean, we can, the Allen thing is the Allen thing. We have to let it. He will get a lot of run in preseason. There's no reason to not. Nobody paid, $4.95 on StubHub to go see AJ McCarron play for 3 quarters. So I'm confident that we will see Josh Allen. But there's a lot of other things that are very curious about this Bills team. I will start. I have no idea what to expect from this offensive line. That was league average last year and now is missing its top 3 players due to a whole variety of kind of bizarre exits. You talk about trading your left tackle and having your center and guard retire with varying circumstances. I don't know what to expect with this thing.
Well, you're okay at left tackle, though.
Left tackle, you're fine. Yeah, left
Dawkins
tackle
was fine.
That's the position I'm actually least worried about of those 3.
Yeah.
But that interior part of that line, I don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
from
it turns out to be an unfortunate set of circumstances when you have Eric Woods hand getting forced with his injury status and forcing himself to retire. Then you have, say what you will about Richie Incognito as a person, as a professional, but there's no
lots
doubt that
to
when
say.
he's on the field and playing, he was a positive contributor to the Bills' offensive success.
And the left side, with most lines, but the left side was the strength, and they're all gone.
Yeah.
So now what?
Now you're looking at teams like the comparable to a team that had a lot of talent and even couldn't make it work with an offensive line last year was Seattle. How many plays did Russell Wilson drop back, take one step, and see 4 offensive linemen fall to the ground and let the entire opposing team's defense just rush right in? If your offensive line turns out to be a weak point,
right,
whether it's Josh Allen, AJ McCarron, and Nathan Peterman back there, it's going to be a long
and Russell
day.
Wilson, I would say consensus top 8 quarterback. Is that reasonable?
I think that's absolutely
probably
maybe even a low ball of him.
Right.
Honestly.
I mean, somewhere between 4 and 8, I think, is very reasonable. Not ridiculous to say at all. So if he can't get a team, into the playoffs with that in the much stronger conference, what is even a reasonable expectation for this Bills offensive line? I mean, it's so hard to measure these guys individually and as units, and I realize that. But to me, take whatever metric you want that's in advance. If this is a top 25 offensive line, I almost feel like it's overachieving at that point because it really does not look good. And then you throw in all this question marks at basically every skill position now with the Sean McCoy off-field issues, whatever you want to call them. To varying degrees, unproven targets. Can Charles Clay stay healthy? Can Zay Jones catch a ball? Can Kelvin Benjamin stay healthy? Did DeMarco Murray retire because the Bills were the only team that was offering him, and he's like, "Thank you, but no, thank you." And then you get to the quarterback. I mean, the entire offensive side of the ball. I don't know what the expectations
and this is a
are for
team
this.
too that wants to run the ball at you. They're one of the teams that's sticking true to the try to pound the ball at you mantra, and things that you can do to kind of negate a weak offensive line, like screen passes and quick actions. Not maybe what they're planning around. So especially now you're wondering whether LaShawn McCoy is going to be an active Bill week 1 or depending on what percentage of these allegations prove to be factual, whether he'll be on the field at any point this season.
Report is he will be there. Full freight. Pending legal.
Well, and that's how it should be, I guess,
obviously.
versus like the Zeke situation or the Reuben Foster situation or anything like that. Right. But you never know, and heaven forbid that he misses any time. Then you've got Chris Ivory, who did not look great last year, behind a line that is 25th to 30th in the league with a quarterback who has a maximum of 1 game NFL starter tenure, and that's Peterman, not your rookie or McCarron.
Yeah, well, whatever it is. I thought McCarron started a
I think
couple
it
games.
was a playoff game, maybe?
3 or 4. Yeah, well, he
I'm sure he
definitely
does have a
started
couple
that
games.
one. He has postseason experience, like most of the Bills roster now. So that'll come in handy for that week 12
We're all
game
ready to go now.
against Miami. But yeah, I don't know. It's almost like a collective. I don't know what we're gonna get until we see it. Holding out hope for God, maybe it works out and everything looks great, and one of the quarterbacks is successful, and you can spell McCoy, and you have 2 capable wideouts that are NFL quality, or you could have what's on paper one of the worst offenses that the NFL has seen in a decade. And that's kind of what I'm worried about.
I was traveling downstate to visit a friend of mine who's a Jets fan. We were talking about like the Jets and Bills off seasons, and he posed a question to me that I would like to pose to all of you. Is there a team in the NFL right now that has worse options at wide receiver than the Buffalo Bills?
I don't think the Bills' options at receiver are all bad.
Who do the Jets have?
The Jets lost
Robbie Anderson,
Terrell Pryor.
Terrell Pryor, Ardarius Stewart, and Quincy Enunwa coming back off of IR.
It's probably worse than us. We still have Kelvin Benjamin.
I mean, I'm okay with the top 4 receivers: Benjamin, Zay Jones,
And the other 2.
Jeremy Curley, and is what's his name from the Eagles coming back? Or
Matthew signed
No,
with the
Matthew
Patriots.
signed with the Patriots.
okay, yeah, I haven't heard anything about him. Okay, but I'm still fine with those 3 receivers. I mean, it's not going to light everybody up, but it's far from the worst in the league.
I mean, out of those 3 guys, though, you have one guy who can't stay healthy and got traded from Carolina up here, who certainly has exhibited a high level of talent, but not the ability to stay on the field long enough to become a top 10 receiver like his ceiling was when he came out of college. You have your number 2 guy who couldn't catch a thing last year as a rookie, coming off a very bizarre offseason incident that Nick alluded to a moment ago. And who
Didn't
knows
he
how
also
healthy
have
he is.
surgery?
He did also have surgery.
So
and
let's
then you have
see-
Jeremy Curley, who was jettisoned from the aforementioned Jets.
I mean, they're still worse though.
And then you have Clay, who again has exhibited at points in his career a high level of ability, but has never been worked into the playmaking over an extended period of time to really be a difference maker.
And Josh Allen thought he'd put the bums in the Mountain West. Poor guy.
And I'm taking a look at some of these lineups of wide receivers. Dallas is a little rough.
Yeah, that is a fair point. Alan Hearns at number 1 with Cole Beasley, I think is what they got done there right now.
I'm looking at Deontay Thompson, Terrence Williams, Tavon Austin, along with Hearns and Beasley. Yeah, that's not good.
Isn't Tavon Austin like 5'3" or something like
Yeah,
that?
he's tiny. He's very small.
Meanwhile,
Another one that caught my eye was Tennessee with Richard Matthews, Corey Davis, and Taywon Taylor.
I think that's better than the Bills easily.
It's younger than the Bills, that's for sure, but better.
If Corey Davis is getting a full season and plays like he did in the playoffs,
Yeah, I mean,
think
Corey
that's
Davis
years
was
ahead.
a top 5 pick. The
Right.
expectations are there for
Right.
him, and I would say Jets, Cowboys, Bills are at that level now. 3 years ago, if you're gonna throw out like I don't know, Stephon Diggs and M. Thielen, are you expecting greatness out of that? So guys can develop, and to me, the biggest of any of the skill position players, to me, a lot of this hinges on Zay Jones. We need to see that ability in year 2 that he showed as a record-breaking wide receiver at East Carolina. That did not translate at all in the NFL. Now, there are people that said that the quarterbacking was mediocre last year and that the ball wasn't being put to him. So maybe with somebody that can put it a little stronger, then.
But he did need to come down with a few of those. I mean, the quarterbacking wasn't great last year, but he did need to come up with a few of
at
those.
some point, I mean, it felt like he was constantly and they weren't just getting one hand on it while it was sailing overhead. It felt like there was some that was hitting him in the diamond.
He had
and
a couple
was
really
dropping
bad drops.
So we'll see what it is. Switching over on the defensive side, things have been sort of remade a little bit, trying to reinforce the front 7. I would say the strength of the team is still the defensive backfield as it was last year. EJ Gaines out, Vontae Davis in. Other than that, you're basically staying status quo, which is good. I don't really, why, if it's not broke, don't fix it, at least for this year. See what you can get. the turnover luck that this team had last year is unrealistic to expect to come back. Turnover ability, whether it's a skill or not, it's very difficult year over year to keep turning teams over at a rate that the Bills were able to last year, which won them games last year. I mean, they don't win the Falcons game without those turnovers.
Yeah, it would be a lot to expect. Micah Hyde had, 5 interceptions last year? Something like that?
Yeah,
I mean,
Hyde was he was a ball hawk last year that they hadn't seen since the
but that's
early
not
days
going
of
to-
Jarius Bird.
Yeah.
Birdman,
but that's probably not going to happen year after year, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, it's a defense that's going to keep them in games because whether or not they're turning people over as much as they did last year, I think we can agree they're a pretty solid group that's not going to get beat up and down the field possession after possession. The problem with the team that I see right now is I think, on paper at least, it's of course we're so far away from seeing what this team even looks like in preseason games. The problem is that the offense on paper is not as good as it was last year, so the defense runs a significant risk of being trapped out there for more possessions, more 3-and-outs, longer time, and the more time that your defense spends on the field, the more tired they get, the more you have to rely on second stringers to come in and fill those gaps, and the more that the opposing offense can take advantage.
Yeah,
so
and
it could be a
that's
long year for the defense,
something-
not through any fault of their own.
Right, exactly. That's something to consider. Tremaine Edmonds, to me, maybe the most interesting rookie, more so even than Allen, because we know he's going to be. He may not wear the C right away. He's essentially already a captain on that defensive side at age 20. He's going to be the quarterback on the defensive side. He's got a lot of expectations put on him, and with the best linebacker already being moved on with Zach Brown last year. To me, it's Edmonds. He's going to have to show a lot of ability, and the expectations are there. The tape looks like it's there, and the overall raw athletic ability is there. But what do you think is a realistic expectation for Edmonds? I mean, it seems unlikely that you can't just say like, "Oh, you got to be defensive rookie of the year," right? But I think there's expectations that maybe he should be at least getting votes,
Yeah.
and that would be a disappointment if he didn't.
I think you're going to see some plays this year where Edmonds just reads a play perfectly off the snap and absolutely lights some guy up coming through the hole, and you're going to be like, wow, that guy just has it. And there's going to be a lot of plays where, though he's learning how to read more complex offense, he's going to look a little bit lost out there. And it's just, with a guy as young as he is, he's got to take the good with the bad while he learns how to be, as you mentioned, the quarterback, if you will, of the defense, and learns how to read everything at the line of scrimmage at a much faster rate of speed, and also with much more complexity than you're accustomed to from a lot of college offenses.
He's gonna be interesting to watch. You already said that, but I said he's like at the draft. They drafted Josh Allen, who's the big dog that sheds a lot, and Tremaine Edwards is the vacuum. The Dyson vacuum's gonna clean up his mess. That's what I think his role is gonna be in this defense. But I think you're gonna see the Bills model a lot like last year, just strong defense, that bend but don't break defense, and just it's very safe offense. But a quarterback back there is going to throw it, and like Tyrod is dunking everywhere, just refuse to throw it. We're going to see a lot more picks this year, that's for sure.
But
So
so
you're
you
gonna
remember
see
the
more
one half of
defense.
football last year where they put a quarterback who wasn't Tyrod back there and said, "Please throw it," because I want to forget about it.
yeah.
We could
And
talk
they
about it
still
more
have-
if you want.
And they
we
still
can
have-
talk about
And they
it.
still have very much faith in him. You read that Silica Pacho article?
Yeah, I think it was an offshoot of an ESPN article with it was Brandon Bean was interviewed, and he was talking about how they have faith in him and how they're still sure he can make an impact on the team and all kinds of other bullshit.
I mean, I
Five
would rather
interceptions,
they
get the
they
fuck
have
outta
at
here.
least some faith in him that he can come in and let the guy who was a rookie kind of got thrown into it late get another shot. At the same time, I don't know what else I would expect them to say. They're not going to be like, yeah, we kind of given up on it. We're going to cut him when we get down to 53.
Well, also,
bro.
Allen hasn't signed his contract yet, too, so that might be he's one of the 5 top 10 players who
Yeah, now that
Drafted hasn't.
and Barkley just signed.
He
Yep.
hasn't signed yet, huh?
no hasn't signed yet. And I think that was part of the. I was
You
reading.
can't wrap
reading
those
another
big mitts
article.
around a pen.
Barstool got him cocky. Got him too hyped up in his own head.
He's gonna make what he's gonna make. It's
Yeah, this isn't the Sam Bradford #1 overall era of rookie contracts. Now that there's that pay scale.
What did they do to negotiate? What is there to negotiate?
nothing.
Guaranteed,
Incentives?
basically just guaranteed money and incentives. How much? Because Saquon held out to get all that money guaranteed.
Right.
Not
and that's-
held out, but
Right. It's because you're
Weighted.
slotted basically now where it is. It's very similar to all the other drafts where, like, in the NBA for 10, guys used to hold out, and then they're like, nope, this is your pay scale. This is what your number is. Sign this contract here. Thank you. It is a little weird about the whole, like, interviewing Bean and McDermott and then not running the interview for a month, right? Because
Yeah.
I
Holding
holding
it for a rainy day to fit the narrative.
Well, I just thought it was odd because I think either Graham or Waro or one of the guys said in their article, per the conditions of the interview, it was done last month and now it was ran. And that just struck me as being very, like, control freakish to a point where what would have come out in that interview, or what was not mentioned in the reports of the interview, left on the cutting room floor. I don't know. It just struck me as an odd condition to have, and
Yeah.
it
Could be something
trying
as
to get
innocent
inside.
as they wanted to hold it until they were getting more to football fervor, or it
Right.
could be that there was some, as you mentioned, some kind of extra tidbits that
Again,
they were hoping were going to come to fruition. between now
Whatever,
and then,
it's fine. I just thought it was weird that they ended it with Happy Father's Day. I just thought that was an odd touch to it, but
It's like
regardless,
recording a trivia podcast during the
Yeah.
Elite
Yeah,
8 weekend.
Yeah,
and
my bad, man.
releasing it during July.
who the fuck would do that?
It wouldn't have been that bad if I didn't specifically say here on this Elite 8 weekend, word for word.
Go.
The NCAA baseball.
Stay tuned to episode 2 of the sports podcast when I say Happy Easter, everyone.
Yep, that's right.
When
Dying
in
your
fact, we
eggs as
recorded
speak.
it on Palm Sunday.
That's right. Shout out to Jesus.
Big ups.
Star Latulele. The numbers hated him. The eye test loves him. Expectations are certainly that they're going to be better in the middle, and I actually think that I'd rather have Latulele than Darius at the number. And I don't know about the production. The production may be the same, but
Well, it's a moot point because
it just
Darius is going to be
kinda-
suspended for a long time.
well, yeah, good point. It just feels like Latulele is, and again, this is where I waffle in between being like, you got to trust the stats and you got to trust the eye test. I think Latulele is going to be a welcomed contributor on the team this season.
Yeah, he was a highly touted prospect coming out of college. And the coaches and the staff that are here now in charge of the Bills
They're
were
only
those who were in
allowed-
charge of bringing him to Carolina in
I
the
know.
first place, and they've seen him day in and day out of practice
They
for a long period of time,
Love
so they
signing
must see
guys.
something.
Yep, just like Mike Tolbert. They love seeing guys that they're familiar with.
A human bowling ball in his own right, Star Latulele coming to plug up the middle of that Bills defensive line.
There's something there with it.
Well, you can do more with a human bowling ball on defense than you can with on offense usually.
Can Tolbert play linebacker?
We're going to see if we can keep him on the 53 somehow, some way. Anything else
Long snapper.
concerning, are you going to go to any of these games?
I'm going to
Preseason
be,
games?
Yeah.
I might go to one. Their tickets are cheap
They're
enough.
so cheap. I
Yeah.
mean, they're ridiculous. It's seriously, it is like $5.
I haven't really looked at which one I would consider going to, but odds are I'll probably pop in for one just to
do it.
just to be around football. I miss football.
They're playing the Lions again, right?
I feel like that's
It's
the
the
annual
tradition. It's the traditional Rust Belt
The-
Week 4 game, right?
You got to
We all
thank them again and again
ferociously-
for that time we got to play a home game in their stadium.
Oh yeah, that was great. Well, that was we got the shovel touchdown celebration or the sack celebration. That was cool. Yeah, they don't. Justin is on the Buffalo Bills schedule right now. They do not have readily available the preseason schedule.
I'm getting
give you
there.
a rough
it
idea
does
of what
not
we're
look
looking
like they play the Lions. It is
Oh,
Panthers,
God.
Panther at home to Carolina, at Cleveland,
Of course.
home to Cincinnati, at Chicago.
Oh, you're gonna go to the Bengals games so you can praise Tyler Boyd.
Gonna bring my Tyler Boyd jersey that I totally have.
What
So
is-
his
somewhere.
brothers?
What a schedule!
We're very, very distant cousins.
Gotcha.
Distant enough that he doesn't know who I am.
And
Distant
you got
enough.
none of the athletic ability as well.
Zero.
Yeah.
Man, I'm like a top 10 tennis player at my age group 10 years ago.
Wow, humble. brag over
Specifically
here.
in Cheektowaga only.
top 10, but all the districts.
No,
Cleveland Hill?
just in
Cheektowaga.
Cheektowaga.
Okay, all right. Well,
Humble brag.
Top
it's
5
still
at your
kind of
school.
No.
Just asking for acknowledgement there. So we will acknowledge you as a top 10. That's pretty cool. That one has been tucked away in my memory bank for use at a later date.
Yes.
So that'll be exciting for you when that comes. I'm just brokenhearted that the Lions series is dead. What the hell? What's the point of the preseason now? It's like,
It's dead, just like Ralph Wilson.
oh god.
I was gonna say died with
It died with Ralph. No, really, I'm sure that's
Did it?
that was probably part of it.
Oh,
He's from Detroit, so
that's a good point. Maybe it was like the Toronto series, only in Detroit.
it died with Russ Brandon.
Yeah.
May he
Russ
rest,
Brandon's
may,
still
may he
alive.
rest in peace.
He's still alive.
May
Not to
that
me.
Horny bastard, rest in peace. Allegedly. Sorry, we don't know.
Alleged horny.
Allegedly horny.
Sorry, just gotta cover myself there. Allegedly, we don't know. Anything could happen.
What do you think his horny level is?
666.
There you go.
So other than that, I don't know. I don't know what Bill's expectations are. Of course, we have to see what's on the field. Just pay attention to week 3. See what happens, and then just judge your entire season prediction off of that. Right? That's what we do.
I mean, they're either going to
Don't
come
kid
out.
yourself.
They're going
That's
to come
what-
out and roll Cincinnati and
They
be
look
16
pretty
and 0,
good.
or they're going to come out and get embarrassed and go
11
on
and
with
5's
16.
looking pretty good. No, we'll go. We'll run through this. There's
Just
the
quick-
first.
Quick barometer of the room before we have any reason to do this. What do you think is a quick and dirty Bills prediction for a
5
final
and
record? 5-11.
5 and 11.
6 and 12.
That would be really
impossible, so
impressive.
let's try that again.
They went up
We're
to
not
Canada.
taking into account weeks 3 and 4 of the. Try it again.
5 and 11.
Thank you.
When all else fails, what
Disagree.
that guy said. No, I do think it's 5 and 11 because I have looked at it. I
Impressively,
honestly,
they're going
I'm
to make
go-
the playoffs
I'm
at
going to
4
be
and 12,
contrarian.
and then win 2 playoff games.
what's that
I'm
one?
going to be contrarian.
Go ahead.
6 and 10.
All right, that's fine. I looked
The
at
AFC is taking a real nosedive.
well,
this year. You
but
heard
I
it here
think
first.
honestly, I think 4 of the 5 wins are coming against like in those Jets and Dolphins
Jets
game.
games,
They
yeah.
probably go 3 and 1 in that stretch, and otherwise they probably split Miami, sweep the Jets, and then, dude, I'm telling you, like
How long has it been
the
since we actually
Colts,
swept the Jets, though?
the first year of Rex, I think they swept them.
There's been some pretty bad Jets teams there that we have not swept. I think
Yeah.
I think we split the Dolphins and the
Right,
Jets.
because
like
I
we
think
do
they
every
won
year.
opening day, opening day was against the Colts. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was that.
There was that
Oh, no,
that terrible Thursday night game we all watched together,
Right,
where
the colorblind-
Fitzpatrick went for
it was the
400
colorblind game,
plus.
and
Yeah.
then which they won, and then they beat in week 17 to keep them out of the playoffs. So
Yep.
that was it.
So
But no, I
throwback,
mean
yeah.
seriously, there's not many winnable games, and the tough opponents are all coming here, so they'll get 1 or 2, but
it's a rough road.
it's a very
The
heavy
downside to
schedule.
finally getting good enough that you make the playoffs is that you draw better ranking teams in your own conference for your other filler games.
Right, so they drew the Chargers out of the they play
West.
the South, and then they drew the Chargers out of the West and the Ravens, which both teams
Yeah. So
have
instead of Cleveland and Kansas City, you
Right.
draw
I'm
2
gonna
teams
miss
that
the
are
Kansas-
arguably going to be.
and
It feels weird not playing Kansas City.
it does feel weird not playing Kansas City. And then they draw the NFC North, which can't help but be better
Yeah.
with Aaron Rodgers back. Mitch Trubisky looks a lot better for the Bears.
Yeah, the worst team in that division is a Bears team that loaded up on talent in the
Maybe
offseason
I
and
think
could
the
make some
Lions
noise.
are worse, but whatever. And then you got the AFC South, which has
Houston.
all 4. If Andrew Luck's healthy, all 4 teams think going into the season that they should be in the playoffs. Colts fans are going to think that they're.
Well, yes.
God bless those mayo-eating bastards, but they think that they should be in the playoffs.
I'm still not sure they have enough. It's the problem they had before he got injured, though. What is there around Andrew Luck?
Andrew Luck.
Exactly. And he is
He's
good
around
enough to win them
himself.
some games,
I'm
but
just saying that's what they're thinking.
There's-
I agree. I don't.
no more Frank Gore. And you hope that your line is better to keep Andrew Luck's shoulder together. Has he thrown a football yet? Like a real life NFL football,
People
not like an inflatable
allegedly
football or a
saw
college ball.
him that would be great if he was just throwing like a. Holy crap! He threw that 80 yards. It's like
It's a
looked like it
vortex.
kept rising. Yeah.
The vortex ball, like what the?
It's got like one of those Nerf footballs with the tail on
And
it.
now we
Yeah.
brought out John Elway
The
to show
whistler.
you to demonstrate this is the furthest football ever thrown.
I don't want to rewind a
yeah, go
second.
ahead. Rewind.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Great sound.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We could edit that, right?
Nope.
We can, but we won't.
Elite Eight
Alleged
Sunday.
mayo eaters.
Yes, I apologize.
Alleged
for that.
mayo eaters. We're not sure.
They like shrimp cocktail
I've been there once.
in Indianapolis or to the Colts
It-
specifically.
both.
Okay, that's why you went there.
Big Ten championship game.
Oh.
But yes,
Gotcha.
I didn't see any mayo. So,
Sure.
But
If you don't see it, it may or may not exist. It's true.
exactly. So I'm not sure.
I know, like I said, shrimp cocktail, a lot of horseradish, St. Elmo's Fire Grill or whatever.
Horseradish is my jam, so I'm cool with that.
Reggie Miller lives there. Probably. I don't know. If we can get a verification on Reggie Miller's. I'll look it up. at work
Allegedly
tomorrow.
lives there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
that's
don't know
about
if
it.
I
I
had
don't
to
know.
pick between living in Indianapolis and where Reggie Miller came from in Riverside, California, I'd probably pick Riverside over Indianapolis.
Now, Riverside
I actually
is
used to live in Riverside, so
not the nicest part of Los Angeles area, the greater metro Los Angeles area.
it's not even the greater metro Los
Compton.
Angeles area.
Compton is the nicest part.
Okay.
It's about 50
LBC.
miles
Just take
east.
the 10 to the 4. That's about right. That's a thing out
Give me
there,
here
right?
Googling where Reggie
Anaheim.
Miller lives.
He probably lives in Los Angeles. He went to UCLA. Why is everybody's Google working really slow tonight?
I'm on his Wikipedia, but I'm trying to find this.
Oh, okay.
Wait, his personal life.
Biography or
Yeah, there isn't a personal life section on Reggie Miller's
What the
Wikipedia. Fun
hell?
fact.
Reggie Miller, he bangs.
Splits his time currently between residences in Malibu, California, and Fishers, Indiana.
Hey, we just got the training camp has theme days this year. Can we run through these?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Did you make
Oh, they
these
must
up?
be
No,
good.
I swear to God, where are we? We are on NewYorkUpstate.com, so a reputable website. All right, there's 6 themes. July, this sucks, man. July 29th is Christmas in July, whatever. Still dumb, but
Redeemably dumb.
shout out to Christ. August 1st, Princess and Superhero Day. If anybody over the age of 13 is cosplaying at the Bills training camp, I will punch you.
Oh, there goes my Princess Leia cosplay. idea.
That is for the kids. It's all about the kids. They don't get
You're
enough.
going out that hair for nothing.
no, right?
But those that stay overnight on August 1st then can participate in Wild West Day on August 2nd.
Yeehaw!
I have so much fringe that I need to get used.
Josh Allen
Brown
is
leather.
Everybody's Wyoming Cowboys
That-
jerseys
oh my
coming
God.
out.
Can't wait for
Why,
everyone's
baby?
gunslinger tweets on the 2nd.
Powder River.
This guy out here's a real gunslinger. Throws that football over them there mountains.
This is what would be the most predictable theme day for the Buffalo Bills to have? Because that's what they're doing on August 5th.
Give Mike Tolbert the ball 50 times in a row day.
Besides that, that's one Buffalo Day on August 7th. So you're half right. You
Is
just
it something? Are
don't
they,
jump in.
okay, my guess is that they're bringing the buffalo wing and the celery, and they're bringing them out to
Dr. Fisher.
John Fisher College.
Teresa garbage.
it's actually celery running the tires.
yeah. Teresa garbage play in a white hot.
There you go.
No, it is Military Appreciation Day
Oh, of
on
course
August
it
5th
is.
for the troops.
We love the troops.
Yep. McDermott's going to wear a camo hat that day. It'll be pretty cool.
That'll really stand out for me.
One Buffalo Day is on August 7th. And then just because, fuck you, Pirate Day on August 14th.
Why not?
Now, there are giveaways for each of these as well. For Christmas in July, a Bills ornament, which
That's pretty
that's,
good.
that's a good one. For Princess and Superhero Day, blue and pink capes because
Yeah.
gender is static. Wild West Day, giant foam cowboy hat, which now I just kind of want. Now I want to go to Wild West Day.
So, want to get a Josh Allen
Turd
signed giant
Ferguson,
cowboy hat.
yeah. Look at this. Look at the giant hat. It's a big hat. Bill's dog
Burt
tags
Reynolds.
on Military Appreciation Day. I hope Burt Reynolds shows up.
It's
now
funny.
For Wild
It's a big
West Day.
hat.
Why? Why not?
Turd Ferguson. It's a funny
One
name.
Buffalo Day. All right.
Yeah, what do you want?
We're gonna skip over one Buffalo Day because we're gonna finish with that. What's a pirate yowie? You know what that is?
Yowie?
I have no idea.
Spell it.
YOWIE.
Let's all guess what we think those are.
What is a yowie? I think it's a tribute to
I'm
the
gonna guess
late.
it's a bandana.
Okay.
I think it's one of those pirate puffy shirts.
I'm gonna get-
Someone finally marketized the Seinfeld puppy shirt.
Okay. My guess is that it's a tribute to the late North Carolina State women's head basketball coach Kate Yao. Let's see if I'm
Any
correct.
guess there, Mike?
I'll
What a
go with the
yowie is?
bandana.
Yeah, I'm thinking of bandana because it's cheap.
Yeah.
So
It's gotta be
it is.
cheap, easy.
We're looking at a Scion sponsored version of this. It is
Big
a
up,
rally
Scion.
towel that can also be worn as a beanie, as a bandana,
Oh,
as
yeah.
a scarf, as a headband. It's so flexible. It's the most flexible. They've
So
done
it's a
this
piece of
before.
fabric.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they did it for when everybody was
Oh, is
mandatory
that one of
pink.
those like
Yeah.
cool? So you could wear it around your neck.
Yeah.
and you could wear it on your head.
Yeah.
One of those things.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I gotcha. Okay.
All
That's
right,
actually a
and
good idea.
finally, let's go
It's
back to one
multipurposed.
Buffalo Day. Besides Mike Tolbert being given the ball 50 times for old time's sake, how are we commemorating one Buffalo Day? What was the worst trend?
Sunglasses.
Close. What was the
Oh,
wor-
there's. I was thinking. I was
You're
thinking
close.
Gator sticks.
they're
close?
giving away old.
Vuvuzelas.
What was the worst thing that you had in 1991 in school?
My birth.
Shut up. Oh. God damn it! I forget that he.
1991.
All right, the rest of everybody in the room. kindergarten,
Yeah,
first
sure,
grade.
the rest of you.
1991 trend.
It's like third grade.
1991. That was fourth grade for
Yeah,
me.
it was like
All
good
right,
for-
well, first grade for me. Yeah, Justin's
It
pantomiming.
was like that's probably like a pencil case or something.
great radio.
Some like
slap
shitty-
bracelets.
Ah, okay.
Do you know what those are, the little
I-
boy?
I-
You
yeah,
know what a
I-
slap bracelet.
Well,
is?
everything comes around again. That was cool again by the time I was in grammar school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
slap bracelets are definitely fourth grade for me.
I'm shocked they're not doing fidget spinners because that would be more up their alley. That's incredible.
Waiting for commemorative pogs next season.
Mike Tolbert
Josh-
slammers would be sick as hell.
Say Josh Allen Beanie Baby.
I would unironically keep the Josh Allen Beanie Baby on a shelf.
I just want to star Latulele Tamagotchi. I think that would be the best thing. And then a Sean McDermott Furby that just keeps clapping incessantly.
I want one of those ViewMaster like 3D things
Yeah.
of EJ Manuel. Just keep on going back.
You see what EJ Manuel sees is just a blank screen. It's like no wonder the guy couldn't throw the ball. He couldn't see anything out there.
His greatest trick was the reverse Stevie Wonder, convincing everyone that he wasn't blind.
All right, let's all remember this in Week 8 when the Bills are 1-7 and we all want to kill ourselves. Okay.
We've had years like that. Though,
Well, we
so-
have.
Well,
Yep.
We've
well,
been doing
see,
this for
we're,
like
we're
3 or 4
prepared
seasons
for it
already.
this year, so it might not hurt as much.
We're just going to revisit the theme day and giveaways for training camp.
Is there anything that
This
they're-
is Russ Brandon's last
Yeah.
stand. by
Are
the
there
way.
any
He
theme days
locked
that they're
these in.
missing that you think they should add on? It's not too late. We have time here.
I would say that they could do a Fantasy Island Sea Breeze Day, where you get to go to the second best amusement park in your hometown. I was thinking that you could have, I like the idea of Buffalo Wild Wings Day, where the Bills have the finest buffalo wing material, which is, of course, from BWW. They bring in, like, the Parmesan garlic sauce. And,
mango
like,
habanero.
Mango habanero.
That's it.
Get the dry rub on there. Get yourself some pretzel chips or something like that. Some real authentic, like, buffalo fare.
Potato wedges.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, potato wedge.
The fuck
Buffalo
likes-
chips.
Nobody likes potato wedges.
No,
Get out
nobody.
of here.
How can we make this potato thicker? We got so much potato. God damn these potatoes.
And we got to put this crunchy shit on the outside so nobody likes it.
Yeah. They could do Niagara Falls Day where everybody gets to run through a sprinkler once. I think that would be pretty cool. I don't know.
Trying to come up.
Somebody else do
There's got
something.
so what? Why don't there's no bobblehead? Who should there be a bobblehead of on this year's?
It's a bobble hand of McDermott just clapping.
there you go.
Last year it should have been Dan Carpenter as he's attempting a kick. This year, a bobblehead,
Good one.
self-censoring.
I hope that picks up.
And we'll see if we get that later. I mean, you could have like Zay Jones actually would be. A pretty
Yes,
good
right
bobble.
through with his leg through a window.
Yeah, there's just. He's fine though. Now it's fine.
I know he's fine, but we're
joking
making
because
light
we care.
of situations. We could have a San Diego Charger intercepting a ball as a bobblehead.
Nathan Peterman would be like, "Oh,
Oh, shucks.
shucks, dag nabbit." I don't know. Charles Clay infirmed, just like in a little wheelchair with his leg in a cast. We could do that. So many options with the bobbleheads. I also like that when they do like the rubber ducks. Like I think that would be pretty cool to have. I don't know, like Kyle Williams is a rubber duck. Or the one thing I was thinking about was remember you were talking about those footballs that had the
Vortex, yeah.
the vortex on like the tails.
Mhm.
You see if WWF has some old Atom Bomb versions of
Nice,
those,
yes,
but then you
exactly.
put Kyle Williams throwing the ball in the air and then celebrating when everybody fell as the nuclear explosion.
And that would
hit.
be very topical because of everything going on with Russia.
I think that would be toppy
It's
edgy.
the only sports podcast
Topical
to
edgy
Kyle
humor.
Williams,
To
Adam
Vladimir
Bomb,
As nuclear, but yeah, that's
and
right. 3
United
Mile
States,
Island, baby.
Russia relations.
So you're all welcome for that.
Thank you for listening.
We
This is
told
the
you we
only
didn't have a-
podcast in the world.
We
that'll
didn't
do
have
that.
a plan,
And Iran, too. So
and here we go.
So
Yes, here it
here
is.
we are.
Very, yes, very good job, Nick.
You're welcome. Speechless. Bill.
I don't really
Somebody
know
mark
where
it.
to go with. I mean, you
Somebody
know
mark
where
it.
I could go with this, but I'm
I
not
know
going to
you
go there. So we should. That will put the Bills to bed for now. Should we talk about your guys'
there a
involvement
Sabres thing?
there? There's not really much Sabres news
No.
happening.
Nah.
I think there's
Justin might have
really,
some Sabres
yeah.
news. Go
I
for
don't have
it.
any Sabres news. I just really want to hear about Mike's take on the new Mighty Ducks jerseys.
Oh, yep. I was
Yeah.
actually. I was thinking we were
Mike's-
going to start off with the Mighty Ducks jersey. 'Cause It's hot. It's hot. It's hot.
Eggplant
let me
is
take-
back in the NHL.
Well,
Let me take a look.
Black is back in the NHL.
Yeah.
Eggplant is not on the jersey, or it is. I think it's a highlight.
Yeah,
color.
it's a highlight.
Yeah,
But it's
is
not
it
a
like
main-
isn't like where the logo is, like the neckline part
I
there?
think it might be, but the main color is black. It should be eggplant. It is.
Have you seen
Oh,
these before?
what?
Right now?
No.
Oh, you didn't hear?
Oh.
Oh man, they're back, buddy, for the 25th
Those are-
anniversary.
Quack quack quack.
Quack,
Those
quack,
look like they
motherfucker.
put 3 past jerseys together and tried to
They
make them
did.
into one.
That's kind of exactly
Exactly
what they did.
It's a faux back.
Yeah, it is. That's
Do you like faux
Terrible.
back or Nautro?
I like faux
That-
back.
that
I
I
like
like
looks
faux
faux
back
terrible.
more.
that's terrible.
So you wanted? Why didn't we get the one with Wild Wing bursting out from the ice? That was what they should have gone with.
No, see what if they wanted to go with this look, just make it just
Make it
throw
the actual
back-
jersey.
yeah, just throw it straight back. Get rid of that teal on the shoulders.
I don't know why are they modeled after one of the years, or is it just like they
No,
just
This
No.
is
like,
this is
It's
entirely
here's your
new.
color palette.
Yeah.
You're be happy.
Well, the diagonal
So-
lines on the bottom are from the original jersey, right?
Yeah,
The-
they basically took
The
elements
only
from a
thing
bunch
new
of
on
different.
the only thing new on it is the shoulders.
Yeah,
Shoulders.
The teal
the
shoulders.
D on the shoulders.
No, also the teal shoulders.
Okay.
The original ones, they just were the eggplant
whatever.
color.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Well, that now, do they have eggplant jerseys one year, or am I just making that up? Do they have the purple ones as like an alt one year?
I don't think so.
No, I have
Not
to look this up.
recently, but I
No,
sticking around somewhere in the back of my head.
the
Maybe
purple,
they did at one point.
The purple ones were never an alt jersey.
Okay.
It was either
Those
always
were the
teal
original-
or like silver or white, right?
The first ones was the first alt jerseys was the Wild Wing jerseys from 96, 97. Then they had a set of jerseys. One was teal and one was white. Then they had a black alternate. The last year they went by the Mighty Ducks name.
That was the year where they wore those at home because they were getting rid of the name, but they didn't. They were trying to like disassociate from the color scheme, right? So I felt like those script Mighty Ducks ones were like
Yeah,
trying
the black and purple ones.
Yes, exactly. Blend the generations. Well, this concludes our Anaheim Mighty Ducks uniform talk. Although I'm happy for them, give the people what they want. Sabres. Do you know what everybody wants here?
Eggplant jersey.
Heads.
That's right.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were
What
going
does
with
everybody
another
need?
W. There you go.
Royal Blue.
Royal
Just do
blue
royal
sucks
blue.
as a uniform
Just
color.
do Royal, but it's
It
it's
sucks
the
as a uniform
Sabres.
color.
Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. He was wearing a white jersey at the time, but still, Mayday. You know, like so many memories for a lot of people.
So,
are
I think in a
Royals.
vacuum, eggplant sucks as a jersey color, but it worked because it was what they did, and now everyone has fond memories of the eggplant jerseys. Royal blue works for the Sabres because it's what the Sabres have.
What's the most boring NHL jersey right now?
Toronto.
Yeah,
Toronto,
Toronto,
but it's like
Detroit,
Boston?
Detroit.
Detroit. It's pretty bad. I don't like Detroit because it feels like
Arizona.
well,
I
they,
like
yeah, but they
Arizona's.
brought back and they just
They brought back
their-
the-
Yeah, they did a New Jersey. Yeah.
I
I
don't
like this a lot.
What jersey do you hate? All right, I was trying to think of it.
I'm not a fan of the Blackhawks jerseys. Never have been.
Yeah, but they have the shoulder patch is really cool. I like the shoulder
The
patch.
shoulder patch is great.
With the tomahawks
the
on
C
it?
and the tomahawks going through. I kind of feel like the Blue Jackets need a new identity refresher.
I also hate the Flyers jerseys.
Those are pretty bad.
the
They're
orange
just-
ones.
Yeah.
You just don't like orange.
No, just if we're talking about the ones that we
The
don't like that have been
logo-
stale and have been around forever.
Well,
yeah,
they-
the logo is just
They keep.
plain.
They've
and
needed
boring.
they need a redesign of them to do something different. Is all.
They have had it since day one. I mean, you think about, but there's so many teams that do that. Like the Flyers since
They
day
tried.
one.
Well, they did try to do that. They had those weird
Blues
shoulders of the
since day
black.
one.
And
The
Yeah, I
Senators
know.
are really bad.
I like
Senators-
I like
just-
Senators'
it's-
third jerseys.
it's
though.
Senators
Flat red.
sent
it's
out-
flat red with just the senator on the
The
front. That
Senators
sucks.
actually sent out something to their season all 13 season ticket holders left that drive out to Canada. And they actually said, like, what should we have as our logo? And they sent out their current logo, their old logo, the throwback O that they use,
the poop emoji.
the yeah, well, Eugene Melnick spitting on Eric
It's
Carlson.
it's
I
a
thought that was
dumpster
little
on
much.
fire for one of them. It's
Danny
really weird.
Heatley. Oh, sorry.
Oh, come on now. Hey, that's way.
I think
too-
the Senators' third jerseys with the black with like the stripes and the O logo was really nice, but I agree. I don't like.
well,
their
like that
standard
may
home
be
jersey.
if it wins the vote, maybe that'll be their new identity.
That's probably the right.
And
move
then they
for
had
them.
one that was like a cursive Ottawa or something, which I think is like 67s or some tribute to them or whatever. But I don't know. NHL fashion. People have very strong fashion takes on what to do with this. I keep unclicking my microphone because I'm a nervous person. So hopefully this still gets recorded. I guess we'll figure that out later. That's the second time I did it. I'm sure there'll be nothing but awkward silence in those spots, and that's fine. We're just joshing around here tonight. How's Fortnite, Justin? Can you talk to me about Fortnite? My kid made me download Fortnite last weekend.
Can't wait for the Fortnite.
How
pod.
old is your child?
6.
And he made you do it?
Well,
Also, I bet
there's
your
a
kid
lot
is,
of semantics. in
your
that.
son is also definitely better than the three of us in this room would play.
No, he's not. He
He's
died
bad.
in the
He's real
storm
bad.
every single time, and I said, run to where the storm isn't, and he couldn't figure out how to read a map yet. So, cartography is
So
not on his,
okay, so he and I are on the
bucket
same
list.
level. Then it's fine.
So I tried once, and he said, "Oh, Dad, you can jump down," and I jumped
you
down, and
died.
I died. And I'm like, William, you said I could jump, and I would be fine. And he's like, just little jumps, and I like jumped off a fucking cliff. I didn't know what level of realism we were going for here. I thought I'd have like body armor, or my hang glider would pop out or something like that. I don't know.
That would be cool if like you jumped from really high and just your hang gliders popped out.
There's another there's that Realm Royale battle royale where you don't take fall damage, you just superhero land everything. I find that to be
I
fun.
like you do the Roman Reigns like the
Yeah,
punch.
you do the knee punch.
Yep. Like Cable and Deadpool.
Yep.
To consider a gaming show quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
How about all battle royale games?
I mean, those are the only two I've played.
We just talk about Fortnite because we play Fortnite. So
I just wish
we
I could
try.
be good at it one day.
yeah, right.
Follow me on Twitch, just whatever. Not a big deal. Actually, we're gonna do some podcasts via Twitch at some point.
Yeah, we get it rolling.
It'd be pretty sick.
A
actually.
show like this where we're just guys sitting around having a beer.
We'll be playing Fortnite badly while we talk about Buffalo sports.
I'm gonna learn how to play so I can.
Yeah, and
actually
we
participate.
need 4 if we're gonna.
We
do
expect
this, so.
nothing of you.
And we're gonna learn how to
so-
play too. So
Yeah.
even though we've
The
played
difference
for,
is
like,
I've been
3
playing
months.
for a year.
I think tomorrow is the first year anniversary.
It is.
Yeah, happy birthday, Fortnite.
And it appears that they're going to be celebrating by having downtime beginning at 4 a.m. So that's pretty cool.
They do that for every patch update every Thursday or Thursday, whatever fuck day it is. Tuesday tomorrow.
Wednesday, Thursday,
I
Friday.
don't know what day it is.
It's also not the normal.
It's
patch
Elite
day.
8 weekend.
Yes, it
It's
is.
Elite 8 weekend.
Happy Palm Sunday, everybody.
All right, well, that concludes Justin's Fortnite pitch. You didn't even give your handle, dude.
No,
Your Twitch handle.
No one wants to watch anyways.
When we get good, we'll tell you.
God.
Justin716. Justin with an E.
Just
JESTIN.
JUS.
It'll certainly be a 716 Sports podcast account because I really plan to do some of these shows on there. People interact via the chat.
I remember when we tried to test this out when you were in your hotel room and it kept kicking you off the internet.
That wasn't really a test. It was I was playing Fortnite when I was in the hotel room.
It was a little bit of both.
That was my excuse to get you guys on.
Yeah, because you know me, I'm never on that Xbox. It's fine.
I'm so behind on video game culture at this point. I was never super into it. I was the guy.
What did you think of the second Donkey Kong?
World?
Sure.
Yeah, that was good. I liked that. Mega Man is the greatest video game series and the most important video game series of all time, and I will defend that to the death.
I started my day today on the way to work listening to the entire soundtrack of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Solid.
I don't know why. I just popped in my head. I really want to hear some of those tunes, man. A great video game.
Sometimes
Defined
you
my
just have
childhood.
this inexplicable urge to listen to something weird on the radio or download it or whatever.
I would like to think that the programmers of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time are thinking what I want to do is make a timeless musical classic that some guy will
they
refer
did
to
put
in
a lot of time into
2018
the
as
music
a
and
tune.
soundtrack of that game.
I know they did. No, Ocarina of Time was crazy. I remember when that came out. That was a huge development. But no, I haven't played. I play sports games. I've never gotten into any of the first person shooters or any of those. They never held my interest. I was saying my friends were playing Counter-Strike LAN parties, and I would be playing NCAA basketball on the PS2 in the corner, and just hope you guys are having fun with your Mountain Dew and Cheetos because they literally were doing that too. Like they were the stereotypes.
I was actually the exact same way when I was younger. Remember that place Cyber Jocks on Sheridan?
Yep.
All my friends would go there and play Counter-Strike and everything, and I'd be off the side playing The Sims and like the sports games. I was like, what are you guys doing over there? It looks dumb. Whatever.
Playing The Sims. Just simming it up.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Get
but
that
playing
shit.
the Sims, you got to play God.
The Sims was best because you just get the cheat code and then you make like the sickest baller mansion. And basically that was you would do a 4,000 square foot first level that had a 3,050 square foot pool in it.
And then,
like,
you,
throw a
then you get
basketball
bored, take
court
a
over
ladder out of it, and watch
Yeah.
your guy panic.
And then eventually
You
they-
wall off the kitchen and set it on fire.
Play rock paper scissors with the Grim Reaper and start all over again. You know, it's pretty standard game stuff.
yeah,
Basically, just revealed that the entire human race is full of just like complete psychopaths.
Oh, the
that
Sim-
game brought out the worst. in
yeah,
everyone.
The Sims. Yeah, The Sims just reminded us all of our own mortality and that money doesn't buy happiness.
There is an XXX patch you can download to The Sims 4. It's on YouTube. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's a bunch of Sims fucking.
It's pretty much it's pretty funny actually.
Do they make the same Sims sounds?
Now I'm disappointed because I thought we were talking about Vin Diesel. So everything is a lie.
There's a code in the game where you can get Vin Diesel as your Sim.
S triple X.
It's triple X. Can you believe they made a sequel to that movie?
I can.
God bless.
I think there's a third.
Why?
actually.
Because
Is there a
talent is
third?
recognized. Yeah, it was called XXX Tokyo Drift, and it didn't include Vin Diesel.
Well, at
that
that
was-
point, why even bother?
That was terrible. We should probably just end it after that. No. Yeah. So, big moment for the Beauts today.
Yeah.
Announced
Rumored.
officially that there will be a doubleheader downtown. The Beauts will be playing at 2 on I believe it's
Saturday.
December 29th, Saturday. In between Christmas and New Year's, they will be playing Minnesota, and then at 7, the Sabres will be playing the Bruins. So, a very cool moment for women's hockey. I imagine that non-NCAA category, that will be the biggest crowd of all time for an indoor game. I would think it'll be
I don't
North
know
America.
offhand what the Riveters drew when they played at Prudential last year.
But
but it certainly
I'm willing
has
to
the-
bet that they will. The
I would think that they will
Beauts
do better
draw
than
more,
that.
especially with
And this is also announced
the
way more in
building.
advance than that Riveters
Yes.
game was, because that was a later into the season partnership with the Devils. But I think that with everything, it should be a huge draw for them, and it's offered as a doubleheader with Sabres tickets, and then
Yeah.
Butte season ticket holders are getting a Sabres ticket as part of their season ticket. And
Yeah, there's full integration this year with Pagula Sports and Entertainment. They're all in on it, and I think that's great. This is if you they show that they can survive on their own, and now they have behind them, and hopefully more than just the Buttes and the Rivs get even further into this, and the Pride and the Whale, and is it the Whitecaps or the new team in Minnesota?
Yeah,
I hope,
Whitecaps.
hopefully all of them get some kind of love from local teams, and they can do something. Even if it was, it makes sense to me that the Whale would get picked up by the Rangers, since
I
the
thought-
Wolfpack are the AHL affiliate.
I thought the Whitecaps had
Do they have
something
some
with
love with the
I
Wild, or-
thought
not
they-
official. They are playing at the Wild's training facility.
No, but I
in
thought
Minnesota.
I thought they at least co-hosted events. with
They,
the
they may have
Wild.
done that in the past, but I don't think there was any sort of official capacity.
It wasn't the All-Star game in Pittsburgh. That was at the Penguins practice facility, right?
Yeah, it was the UPMC Lemieux
Right
complex
up in
Pittsburgh.
Cranberry
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah. So I mean,
And then the one last year was at the facility in Minnesota where
where the Wild
where the Whitecaps will now be playing.
they're going to play there. So it's they've done it in a smart way, and I think it's fully earned for the team. I think on paper, at least, this team is an all-star team this year.
Absolutely.
You talk about full expectations. It's championship or bust for this team. They really opened up the purse this year.
A couple of Olympians, get Janiga coming back from the Chinese CWHL team that folded, add a bunch of your stars back from last year. Team should be
Emily Janiga, did you say that?
Janiga. And
I
then,
talked
and
to,
Hensley and Cameronazi and Sabados.
I talked to GM Nick Fatty at the Harbor Center a couple days ago. He said he's not done yet. Still has more tricks up his sleeve.
I'm
Per
waiting.
his
I'm
exact
waiting for
words.
Falzer or Bozak.
Per his exact words, more tricks up my sleeve. So
And he's
they're
been
not-
crushing it this offseason, so I believe him.
Yes. He got money to spend.
It's got to be
great for Nick to be in that position where he has the kind of backing that he does now to go out and make those kind of moves.
Other moves of a confident GM and one that has full buy-in.
He's
from
got all
ownership,
the
for
bargaining
sure.
power in the world in that league. And with the CWSL also had a weird week. They lost it. There was a rumor that they were going to drop one of the Chinese teams, but they said no. Then one of those Chinese teams folds. The commissioner is now leaving.
Yeah, not a
So-
great sign for them. And at this time last year, where not this time last year, but post Olympics, everybody was moving to the Canadian League,
Yeah,
and all of a
Carpenter
sudden it
and
looked
Bozak
like,
and-
well, this doesn't fare well. And then all of a sudden you put a superpower in a market that's shown interest, has shown support, arguably the best support in the league, I feel. Not just being a homer, but it looks like attendance-wise, Buffalo's right up there. So, I mean, they're doing a great job. They've done it. So it's well-deserved. So that'll be on, like I said, I believe it's December 29th.
Yeah, December 29th at 2 p.m. So certainly would encourage
Fill it
anyone
up.
who's listening to
Give them
to come down.
19,000, will
And,
ya?
yeah.
I think it'll be great. And I think it's great for, we've talked about families. Prices are going up a little bit, but you're getting a little bit more bang for your
Yeah.
buck as well with that.
Bill, you and I had a discussion on this podcast probably over a year ago about what is the end game for the NWHL, or what is the short-term end game for making the league into their vision. And it's not to necessarily become the exact size of the NHL, but it is to become to a point where they are profitable and the players are making enough that they can become full-time paid professional athletes. And a big step to doing that is being able to host events, sell tickets for events at venues with the capacity of things like KeyBank Center.
Yeah, and I would think that I would imagine. So it's almost like in reverse of what the WNBA did, right? So at the beginning, the WNBA, they have the full affiliations of all of the NBA parent clubs, basically. They're playing in NBA arenas, and everybody's happy. Well, then they realized that when they separated, they were actually looking to go kind of independent. So some of the franchises, like the team in Connecticut, the Connecticut Sun, they have no affiliation. Even teams in the markets, like the Chicago Sky, they have nothing to do with the Chicago Bulls, stuff like that. There are still teams that have very close affiliations too. When the Timberwolves changed their logo last year, the Lynx changed as well to keep up with their parent club. To me, I think the end goal for this is a 10 to 12 team league based almost exclusively in Canada and the North. I think one league has to survive. I think you take, the Toronto, the Montreal franchise. Really, you're taking the markets.
Yeah, Toronto, Montreal, Calgary.
I think maybe you do one in Edmonton as well. I would stay away from Ottawa. I would stay away from Winnipeg. I think Pittsburgh is a logical spot for another American franchise. Maybe I don't really know. I would think that Detroit would be a desired market as well.
Detroit or Chicago you would think you'd want a team
Yeah.
there as a natural rivalry to Minnesota.
And then kind of keep it. I would say you go as far west as Calgary, and you kind of keep it. This is never a league that at this point, not never. It should be a long time before it expands to the Sun Belt. We've seen established hockey people go to the Sun Belt and fail, and so I don't think that it's too
keep
much of a
it where
stretch
the
to
hockey
say.
markets are hot and
Keep
where
it
the
where the-
pipeline of
right.
players growing up mainly come from.
And I understand, I know, was it last year or was it the Olympic send-off or the year before where they had the activities in Tampa?
It was last year,
Was
yeah.
it last year? So,
Right before.
and Tampa's proven itself to be a market. Don't go to Phoenix. Don't go to Houston or Dallas. Don't
So
go
no
to New
Oklahoma
Orleans.
City team next year?
No,
Okay.
no, sorry, drillers. Let's keep it local. Local to hockey markets that care about it.
Mostly a bus league.
Yeah, but that's
I
fine.
mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, and I think obviously you can fly to Calgary and Minneapolis and those, but other than that, just keep it local. I think the end game is a 12-team profitable, sustainable league that the best women's players in the world go to. And I think that that's not unrealistic but slow but steady. They've done it the right way. I think by 2033, 15 years out. I think that that's something that could possibly work. So,
I mean, you expand too fast, you water down the market. I mean, look how fast the NHL expanded in the starting in the early 90s.
well, and it was almost too much for such a short amount of time.
Right.
You need to, You need to do that.
I think the way that they did it this offseason was smart. People thought they might go for both Minnesota and Pittsburgh. They went for one. They're building that up well. They're establishing names, both like former Olympians or current Olympians.
Give everybody a big player and do it like
slow build.
And then MLS now has got 23 teams, and they just announced another 3 or 4, like Miami and Nashville and Cincinnati. I think are all getting teams, and
that bubble's gonna burst at some point.
But
that league's
every
already
market's
contracted
proving
too,
it, though, Jeff. Like that's the thing. Like Orlando had a huge following. FC Cincinnati's got 30,000 people going to Nippert. Like
isn't FC Cincinnati second tier also?
Yeah, and they were supported, and I think they played, I don't know, the Fire or FC Dallas, somebody in the Lamar Hunt Cup, and they showed on a national stage on ESPN or ESPN2, whatever it was, like they had 30,000 people cheering this, supposedly second tier. That was their ticket was punched by that point. So there are paths. You have to be deliberate with it. You have to have the trust and the buy-in of all franchises and all people that are touching it, which that can be an issue sometimes as well.
Well, the thing is, too, with the MLS, this is, year 23, I believe their first season year was
95 out of it.
Yeah, and they've early in their tenure, they contracted a few teams.
Yeah,
they contracted the Florida teams.
Tampa and Miami both contracted, and they had teams. Chivas, well, that was later. That's a whole different thing. But yeah.
But then they waited a few years to expand again.
Got out of San Jose, then went back to San Jose. I mean, So they've done it. Now they got 3 Canadian
Now they're
franchises.
figuring out how to do their growth. And it takes a while to grow as a professional league.
Right, and that's why I think, like I said, like we were talking about with the size of the arena, that's why it's okay to play at the size of the arenas they do. Because when you put the Columbus Crew in Ohio Stadium, it didn't look very good. But you build them their own 20,000 seat facility or 22, whatever it is, and then it looks a lot better on TV. So the aesthetics are there with it.
I guess question maybe I don't watch a ton of MLS. I do watch some. Do you think there is enough market in America for a league that has more teams than the Premier League does? Do you think there's enough people that will support many different fan bases?
Yes, because you forget that in the Premier League, there's constantly rotating up and down in the top tier. So there's supporters for hundreds of teams in the United Kingdom, really in Wales and England, that you can have 30 teams. It's not inconceivable that in 25 to 30 years you could have 2 20-team conferences in MLS. I don't think, because I think as long as the markets prove themselves, I wouldn't think that would be the best idea, but I think there's something there, and I do think that an attractiveness to America, you're always going to be with this team playing this schedule in these cities, whereas you don't always have that with the lower level Premier League teams. Like Hull City's up one year and then they're down the next, So the American model makes it more sustainable here, I think. The Premier League, there's 20 teams because it's the richest league in the world, and there's constant turnover, and the players are turning over and going to different teams over there as well. But that's enough about the MLS. Did not think we were going to be talking about that so much tonight, but still, very cool for the Beauts to be doing that. So you're downloading The Sims right now, by the way.
Throwback.
I'm
Xbox or PC, Justin?
Xbox is free on EA Access.
Oh, there you go. Is it the new one or an older one?
Sims 4.
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
Can't wait to see you not on Fortnite for the next month.
No, I'll be playing Fortnite. Still,
it's gonna build a Fortnite drop in The Sims, build tilted towers in The Sims.
I've been beginning to play Battlefield and Call of Duty lately, but I sit down there and I go right to Fortnite. I can't help it. It's a problem. I'm never gonna. I never mind. I suck at Fortnite.
Join the club.
That's that. That's our show, huh?
That probably puts a bow on that.
Yeah.
Any other sports we haven't covered you guys want to throw in on quick? Got any rugby takes, some highlight opinions?
No.
Rugby Sevens is crazy to watch.
Rugby Sevens is crazy to watch.
A lot of fun.
An MLS team would work in Buffalo?
No.
Why not?
We already have a soccer team and no one goes to the games.
Well, I was gonna get on that.
It's the
I
same
feel
problem
like
as
people
basketball.
in Buffalo don't take a thing seriously until it's like professional.
Correct.
Like if
it'll never become professional.
I guarantee you, if the Googles bought the Bisons, everyone would start fucking going to Bisons games. It's like it's not legitimate around here.
If we had a major league team, people would go to the games.
Yeah.
Maybe. Bill has an opinion on
Well,
this.
the whole idea of the stadium was to be able to expand it later on.
Right.
But Buffalo just won't be able to sustain it. Major League Baseball is in huge market. The smallest market is Milwaukee, which is a really big market. I think Cleveland's the second smallest. So it would, I touched on the ideas of soccer in an article a couple months ago that I wrote.
Back when the U.S. was in the World Cup and they had that game down at Canal Side, it was insane down there. And I know it was just more America pride than anything else, but I still think if a team came here, people would support it. I think it would catch on pretty quickly.
Yeah, the problem is you have to
Putting the
have
cart
the
before the
other,
horse.
20, at that point it'll be 26 owners of MLS teams to buy in to let Buffalo have a team. And you won't do that when there are, we're the 49th or 50th market in media in the country, and you're going to have, Toronto's 90 minutes away. There are some markets that have two teams, but you're looking at places like New York City and Los Angeles.
You wait till it's Pagula Bat. We're number 3 in the country. Guaranteed.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love to have one here, but
I think
I
it'd be
also
great.
realize that there are other
I would
other
love
markets.
to go.
I think it would be a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of markets so in this last round of expansion, Sacramento was left out, San Antonio was left out. I believe San Diego is doing something exploratory, but they have a really weird stadium issue that an NFL team abandoned, and they're not sure what they're going to do with that. So there's a lot of people in front of the line. That
Indianapolis too,
I think Indianapolis,
because the Indy 11 is really popular.
Indiana 11 is actually, you're right. Yeah. The support, just quite simply, the support for FC Buffalo isn't there. If you had a 4th-tier team, or if you were able to get it up to a higher level. I come from Rochester, where I saw 10 to 11,000 people filling a baseball stadium for 2nd-tier level soccer in America. The team won the U.S. Open Cup. I believe they're still to this day the only non-top tier team that's won the cup since MLS came back.
Who, Rochester Rhinos?
The Rhinos, and
yes, they
2000.
are. But
So-
they are on hiatus this year.
well, that's what I was going to say. They end up having some ownership issues. The city completely fucks them on the stadium issue, and they end up having to drop down to the 3rd tier, and now they don't exist anymore. So they're on hiatus, and I have my doubts that they will ever come back. So it's fickle, and it can come and it can go. And when you build a stadium that has no infrastructure around it, and you just plop in the middle of a suburban or not even suburban, just a residential neighborhood, and say, okay, here's your soccer stadium, and do nothing else to it. Rochester really is it's a cautionary tale of what could be, and now you just have this white elephant out there. So,
And then you look at, going back to the whole Buffalo argument, the list of stadiums that were given to FIFA as far as here are all the stadiums in the United States that we could hold World Cup games in. And there was one NFL stadium that was not listed on there, and it was New Era Field.
So no, the World Cup was never going to Jacksonville, but they have hosted U.S. men's competition,
Yep,
and I
they
believe probably U.S. women's as well.
Probably.
And yeah, we just don't have it here. Unfortunately, it could be here if it would have to be in conjunction with the Bills' new stadium, and it would have to be something like they have in Atlanta or Vancouver, where they can basically shut off the entire upper deck and allow a much more intimate atmosphere.
To be fair, I hate watching football games at New Era Field. I'm watching a soccer game there. Just the way the seats lay out, it sucks. You just go back and back and back and back. You go to a newer stadium, just go straight up. You can sit in the last row, you're on top of the field.
Yeah, you
You
mentioned
go to the Ralph, you're a fucking mile away, you're in the last row.
and you mentioned the Crew Stadium, which is, I haven't been there for a soccer match, but I've been there a couple times. And every seat, you feel like you're close to the field because it's designed with that kind of intimate atmosphere in mind, which makes you feel like you're right on top of everything, even if you're in the last row on the top.
DC just finished up their stadium, Audi Field, and it is it is steep up, but it's very confining, and the sight lines are supposed to be really great because you're right on top of the action, almost like a video game view. So, but That concludes our soccer talk.
Stadium talk.
Footy. That's our tribute to the World Cup was MLS expansion.
Yes, indeed.
I couldn't even imagine watching that hockey game at New Era Field.
With a telescope.
Huh? Like,
Did you
like
not
you're-
go to?
and the
you didn't
field's
go to the
already
game?
in the middle. I mean, the rink's already in the middle of the field. Like, and there's so much dead space there.
It's hard
And you're
enough to
already
watch it on
far-
TV with how far the cameras are compared
Yeah,
to normal
I
TV
know.
cameras.
So that's why I didn't buy tickets for, because one of you knows it'd be stupid cold in the middle of January in Buffalo. Well, beginning of January in Buffalo.
And the Ralph does you no favors because it's so open and just attracts
The
all the
wind
wind.
just whips
Yeah.
through it, and just the dead space and the way the seating works there. The stadium itself is, I love the area the stadium's in. I love going to Bills games for the atmosphere, but I don't go to watch football. It's
Yeah.
not because the team's bad, but just the start lines at the stadium are kind of crappy. And I think they need a new stadium.
Yeah, when you go to
Desperately.
another NFL stadium, it really puts into perspective how we've just kind of accepted that's how football games are, and we
Well,
don't push for more.
it's like
But
the
other
sound-
stadiums have it better.
It's like the sound system there. It's like the speakers on the one side of the field. Like I feel like I live by the Ken Maurice football field again. You just hear like it off in the distance and like.
First and time.
Yeah, just like these speakers are on one side of the field, and that's it. It sounds like you're at a high school
Yeah.
game. I think it's hilarious.
It's that I never thought about. Like, I grew up like down the street from Maryvale High School, where you could just hear the speakers in the distance every time they got a first down. First down. That's what it's like to be on the other end of the Ralph.
Well, hopefully we'll get a new stadium. It doesn't
In our lifetimes.
fuck over the taxpayers, but we'll see how
Well,
that
it's clearly
happens.
established my lifetime is longer than
Left,
the rest
right,
of you,
we
so
all
hopefully my
love
lifetime.
fiscal responsibility in this room. I think that'll do it for this evening. If anybody doesn't have anything, Facebook.
Can I plug something?
Go ahead, Justin.
I know.
Wait,
I'm not Justin.
Hey, Nick, why don't
Shit,
you do
you're
something?
Nick. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, so if you were a podcast listener, which apparently you've been here for about an hour,
Self-selected, buddy.
God bless.
hour plus,
Lined
if you're
up.
still with us.
For absolutely nothing. Go
Yeah,
on.
exactly. So recently I've moved on to a different project called the 22 Questions Podcast. It's a trivia podcast. Every other week we do a sports trivia. The second and fourth week of every month we do a sports trivia show, and then the first and third we kind of do like a general like history, geography,
General
bullshit,
knowledge,
general knowledge show. They're about 30 minutes or less, so they're kind of fun. Jeff's been on. I'm trying to drag Bill onto a show every once in a while. We've got some other assorted characters.
Yeah,
From
I'll be on an episode that's dropping this week. Actually.
from our podcast past. Chuck's been on a show.
The ghosts of podcast past. Chuck
Chuck,
in his fantasy football segment returning
yes,
to the
the
22
guru,
Questions podcast.
the guru. But yeah, so we have we drop them on Friday mornings. Just give us a follow on Facebook, 22 Questions Podcast, on Twitter, 22Q Podcast, and we'll have more episodes coming weekly every Friday for the foreseeable future. It's been a lot of fun to record them and have everybody that's been participating. It's a lot of fun. It's relatively humorous to an extent, but yeah, we have a good time doing it. So,
You're doing a bad job moving on though. If you're still like here on this show,
well, I'm making a special guest appearance,
oh, that's fair.
How
and I'm
many,
not moving on.
How many questions do you ask throughout this podcast?
22
Okay.
Weird.
questions. Yes.
Did that inspire the
Per
name of the
podcast.
podcast?
Per podcast, yes. And I don't ask any other questions. I don't ask, "Are you sure?" Because that would make it 23. That's it's
You don't
not-
ask
Change the name
name.
of the show.
I would have to change the name of the show and get a new logo and rebrand my Facebook page
Every single
and
week.
get a new Twitter account. I just can't do that.
One week he slipped up and it became the 42 Questions podcast and it was really awkward.
It was
Kept
bad.
asking everyone how they were doing. It's a mess.
I'd like to be a contestant on the next.
Sports show.
I know other trivia. I haven't played. I've been.
The
to-
other one's really hard.
I don't give a shit.
It's actually it's
I
actually
listen.
we had a guy that from that was on Jeopardy, and the last episode we just dropped on last Friday.
I'd probably do worse on your sports show than I would on the other one.
That's probably
because-
true. I do make the sports one very difficult.
I
It's
don't-
like
I
a
don't
716
watch
sports
baseball or
podcast
anything, so-
episode where we just all sit down.
It's essentially like the old trivia that we used to do on the show, but different. It's the same difficulty level, but
I'd crush the shit out of it. Dude.
I'm recording Saturday if you want to do a sports show.
Huh?
Saturday if you
Here?
want to. No, not here.
Okay, it's just like-
I didn't tell you.
We'll see you Saturday afternoon.
No, if you want to come Saturday. Bill can't be there, so he's going to Cooperstown or some shit.
Baseball.
God bless Chipper Jones.
Americano.
Anyways. That was my plug. 22 Questions Podcast. Thanks.
Thanks for doing that.
Bill, do you have anything to plug?
No.
Okay. Figured I'd ask.
It's a fair question. No. just biding my time.
Hey, Justin, how was the 11-day power play?
It was 11 days long.
Tiring? Not as tiring as last year, though.
And I thought I had like 3 shifts scheduled. I walked out playing like 7 and
Yeah, I
reffing,
saw that.
and then reffing 2 shifts.
Yep.
So I put my body through some torture, but it was fun.
Good.
It was a lot easier than last year having subs on the bench.
Sure.
And I think I was more
And being able to sleep in your own bed.
yeah.
Did you just sleep there just for like one night just because?
They found him under the bleachers by
I
himself.
slept in my car one night because I played late and I had to be back there at 6 in the morning. So I was like, I was gonna sleep in my car because driving back and forth got ridiculous. It's actually easier just living there.
Yeah.
'Cause you have to,
It's kind of far from up here,
it's your only
too.
responsibility.
Depending on what time you got to be there, it could be a pain to get there for
We're
sure.
doing it again next year.
Yeah, same deal, right?
Yeah, I was feel like reffing. I was more sore at the reffing than I was after actually playing. There's so much more standing around.
No ref subs.
Huh? No ref subs. And I'll also, that's my first ever reffing. I will never yell at ref ever again in my life. Ever again. Sorry to every ref I've ever yelled at. But,
Liar.
no, I don't know, man. I don't think I yell at anymore. That's all I got. Power play was good, though. It was great. Thanks to everyone for listening. I donated. We 1.25 million this year.
Broke last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
awesome.
we're doing the same format again next year.
Very good.
That's all.
Now that we've tried to end this show 4 times, I think, in the last 20 minutes.
Unsuccessfully.
Mike, do you have anything to plug?
No, I won't plug anything.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, now we can end it.
Thank God.
716 Sports Podcast, Twitter 716 Sport Podcast, Facebook still exists, and
You mean
that's
Facebook's
it.
still a thing?
Still working on that
Apple
Insta account.
Podcast, Podbean, whatever you prefer.
Download it, listen. Thanks, we appreciate it, and goodbye.
See you.